Hello, everybody, and welcome back to That Real Texas Team podcast here on the channel on YouTube. So, with me as always, Ron Dog.
What up?
I'm the host of the channel. My name is Curtis Brown, host of CPN as well. You should check out not just our channel, but our Titans takeaways, Third and Teal, and Unstabled. Go ahead and hit the like, subscribe button here. We're trying to grow the channel. Currently at 72 subscribers. Like to see that number keep growing. Got some catching up to do for those boys on Third and Teal over there at 203. Just monster growth for them. But consistency, baby. That's why we're here. Consistency.
Speed is key.
Yes, much like a good jelly. Consistency is what matters.
Yes. Do you ever realize that your intro sounds like the Markiplier intro? Hello, everybody, and welcome to...
No, never thought about that.
You never thought about that?
Markiplier?
Yeah, you never heard of Markiplier?
I don't think so.
What?
Yeah, we'll get into that. But I
have to introduce you to that.
And yeah, probably. Game 3 is what we're talking about tonight. The Giants coming down to Houston, and that means a return of some former faces. It means we're going to see, without a doubt, one of the weirdest quarterbacks to have ever been extended in my entire life. Daniel Jones. And we're going to get into what we expect to see and what we want to see and what we don't want to see, as well as risers and fallers. So go ahead, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. Ron, how are you, brother? What have you been up to?
Just work, man. Just a lot of work. Just trying to get as much family time in as possible. I've been working a lot, so my time with them is a little limited. But other than that, I mean, it's football season. What else is there to do?
Right. Sit around and talk ball with the boys. That's
yes,
what it is.
Yes, sir.
Well, let's not keep the boys waiting. Which, by the way, we have like almost a 100% male to female dominated viewership. So
to be expected.
To a degree, yeah, you would think, but like it's like 80-20 on YouTube. So like, where the ladies at?
Yeah,
ladies. A challenge.
All
right, so let's get into something before we get into exactly the game 3 preview here. We've been talking a lot lately in long form podcasts and in our shorts about John Mechie and Dameon Pierce. These two players are, without a doubt, like when John Mechie got drafted and he was coming back from just the ACL, I was like, oh man, he may not play much this year, but next year he's got it. Like he's going to come back, have all that time to heal, and be ready to roll. Then the diagnosis, and I was like, crap. Maybe he comes back. And then, he works his way back. I'm appreciative that he has put in that kind of work to be able to put himself in a situation to make a roster. It is hard to come back from what he's done. Dameon Pierce, on the other hand, he's very much got to have designed runs where like the running lanes are scripted.
Perfect.
Well, they don't have to be perfect. They just have
to be scripted.
Like zone plays are meant to be run where, in theory, you could run the exact same play 5 times in a row and it'll never look exactly the same.
Yep.
Whereas if you run like a blast or you run like a
dive,
a power or something, it looks identical every time. And it is identical every time.
Yeah.
So I think he's got to be scripted. He can't go off script. He's not a very good off script runner.
Yeah.
And when things get blown up, put in his face, In the past, it seemed like he had some explosiveness to be able to break through at least
Yeah,
the first tackle he's down, or first touch he's down.
yeah. I don't
I
know
don't
what happened.
know.
I don't know what happened to a rookie year, Dameon Pierce, but we need him back.
Yeah. That explosive season where he had 941 yards, but like before he got hurt in week 14 and didn't play the rest of the season.
I think that injuries. It's one of those. It's one of those career altering, almost like AJ Brown. He had that injury. He was a great player before, and then that injury happened, and he was a completely different person. When he came back, or Antonio Brown. Sorry.
Yeah.
Um,
We talking about brain injuries right now?
Huh?
I'm talking about a brain injury? Antonio Brown crazy?
well, no, I'm just talking about injuries in general.
Oh, okay.
There's players where they're a great player, and then they get injured, whether it's just an ACL tear or a broken arm or whatever the case could be.
Yeah.
And come back a completely different player.
Yes.
Could be one of those, but at the same time, we need him better.
Yeah. And look, we say all this to say that we have high hopes for these gentlemen. We don't want to see them go anywhere else. I prefer homegrown talent. I prefer to draft them, keep them, watch them become stars. That's the ideal situation.
Yep.
It's cool when you can get somebody in free agency or a trade and it works out. But there's something about like being at one place for a very long time. It's not very often you get to see one person play for one team their entire their entire career, but that shit's awesome. Like it's the goal, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I don't want to see CJ Stroud
Anywhere.
ever go anywhere else unless like he
I
just
want him to retire with us.
yeah. So I mean, I want Mechie and Pierce to work out. He wants Mechie and Pierce to work out, but it's not working out right now, and it hasn't worked out in a while for Damian Pierce.
Yeah.
And I've always been the first to say, the offensive line's been doing him no favors. When I watched the game back, all 4 of his carries, he's got someone in his face.
Yeah.
He's not. He's getting first contact like 3 yards after getting the ball. If that.
His break tackle is like -10.
Yeah. Well, when you're getting hit that quickly, it's hard to make moves. But like
Yeah.
the first play they ran with him was like an outside play. Maybe I think it might have been a pitch, and the right tackle got blown up, and the defensive end set the edge so well that Pierce tried to bounce it back inside, where schematically the defense played perfect and closed that down.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think he just needs to work on his vision.
yeah.
For sure. He's got he has an amazing veteran to watch and learn from. Being Joe Mixon.
It's true.
So if he can learn a lot of things from him, or even learn from some of the receivers who have good, vision, because if you're any kind of skill player, you have to have that vision.
I mean, yeah, especially Pierce had that kickoff return last year.
Yeah.
That requires some vision. So I mean, like he's got it. It's just things have to be. And Frank Ross, credit to Frank Ross, scheme that shit up.
It's almost like
You're muffled.
It's almost like he doesn't know when to turn it on.
It's not that I don't think it's not that he doesn't know when to turn it on. It's that he can't turn it on whenever.
That makes more sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I just feel like sometimes he's like, all right, where you at? And then it doesn't happen. He's like spending too much time scanning.
Yeah.
And not finding the actual crevice. I mean, Arian Foster used to literally walk in the backfield and then find a hole and just be off to the races.
Yeah.
It's a rare kind of running back that can do that quickly and efficiently and fluidly. Um, but we've seen some effectiveness at the running back position in the past in this scheme. Namely, most recently, new starting running back for the New York Giants, Devin Singletary. He played well. He played well. Everybody thought, coming from Buffalo, he wasn't going to be shit. He was pretty close to making 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
He had a lot of games where he looked awful because the offensive line was awful.
Yeah.
I mean, those stat lines that
But
first
I mean,
6 games of the year was just atrocious.
yeah, that and they were trying to figure out who they really wanted to be the starter.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they were splitting reps pretty much 50-50, trying to figure it out. So,
Yeah. I mean, Pierce's best rushing day was 20 carries for 60 yards in Jacksonville.
that's sad.
Yeah. That literally is, I don't know, like almost like an eighth, a seventh of his entire season production.
Yeah.
Um, so look, there is, and kudos for Devin Singletary for getting the bag in New York, and he's got some shoes to fill in for Saquon Barkley, who's now in Philadelphia. But if the Giants have any sort of offensive line that's fucking coherent,
Yeah.
he'll be able to make some things happen. So kudos to him, but come on, Damien, we need you.
We need you to outplay Devin,
Yes.
especially if Joe Mixon's not going to be in the game right now.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
Like, you got to prove why you're the number 2.
Yeah. And the reason this is such a big deal is because of another player who's been trying to make a pretty good claim at the running back 2 position, Cam Akers. Cam Akers is playing pretty solid football. It's not always pretty statistically, but he's making splashy plays in the passing game
Yeah.
and picking up crucial first downs and fighting and
And
breaking tackles.
can't forget about Dario Gumbawale either.
True,
Like
Dare.
he made some plays last week that were pretty crucial. Like he had that touchdown. Um, he got some pretty crucial first downs as well.
Yep.
So I
Very
mean,
true.
can't count him out either.
I wouldn't necessarily count him as fighting for running back 2. Maybe at this point, maybe he's fighting for running back 3 with Damien, but
Yeah.
at that point, I mean, you would have to imagine that trading would be more likely for Damian Pierce than
Yeah.
or a cut. But speaking of that, let's just go ahead and dive right in to the preview here. What to watch for? Immediately, I'm thinking bounce back games. Bounce back game for Hutch, who, while he had big plays, was not as productive as he had been in week 1. In probably about a quarter less of football played,
Yeah.
but even still, the numbers of targets and just general involvement were just overall down. Maybe that was done on purpose. Maybe that was what it is. But I would like to see that go back up, and I'd like to see continued success for the young man,
Yeah.
especially because of the whole John Mechie situation. Because he's looking like ass. Through 2 games in the preseason, he's been targeted twice.
And he's only caught one.
I think he caught both.
Did he? Because I don't.
I thought he had
remember him.
1 catch week 1 for 4 yards.
That might be true, but I know he only caught 1, maybe 2, in the preseason game last week. I had it jotted down actually. I think. Let's see.
Busting out the stats. Mechie was targeted twice, had 1 reception last week for 7 yards.
Yeah. I'm looking at that right now.
So Look, all I'm saying is I need to see Mechie finally getting open.
Yeah.
He's just not getting open. Sometimes it looks like he's jogging. Sometimes it looks like he's maybe not sure what to do, or he's just watching the play more than anything else. I need to see more out of Mech. He
Yeah.
doesn't really do
But
much. He doesn't
at
do
the
much
same
on special
at
teams.
the same time, we don't know how the offense is truly run. There could be plays where I'm not trying to make excuses. I mean, maybe I am, maybe I'm not. I don't know. Um, there could be plays where he's the distraction player.
Mm-hmm.
Like he could like the reason he's only had 3 or 4 total targets is because he's the distraction to bring the defense focus on him to leave somebody else open.
Yeah. I mean, and that's possible, but I don't think anybody like they're not scheming that directly in preseason.
Yeah,
I would imagine that most defensive coordinators are not worried about John Mechie, at least not in the preseason for sure.
yeah,
But no, I mean, I just there's got to be more that we're just not getting out of Mech, and I don't know what the issue is. But Pierce also having this another opportunity if Joe Mixon is either limited or not playing at all, he and Akers need to be going basically blow for blow,
yeah,
and or Pierce just fucking rising to the fucking occasion,
yeah.
and it's not looking good for him. It's not looking good for him. Who else do you think needs a bounce back?
Um, I really maybe Jalen Petrie. I mean, I know I don't. I think he had maybe 3 or 4 in the last 2 games passes targeted to him, and I think 2 of them were caught. So I think he's 50% right now at least. But I'm just not seeing the rookie Jalen Petrie. That we saw that one year. I mean, he did decent last year, but I just feel like he needs to up his game a little bit more.
Yeah,
Like he set such high standards for himself his rookie year, and then his sophomore year he slumped, and now, I mean, obviously he's a starter. We're not going to see much of him, but from what I have seen, there's not much to see.
yeah, yeah. And someone that you mentioned before the show, Kalen Bullock, is I think brought in to challenge both he and Jimmy Ward
Yeah,
uh, eventually because Kalen's very young.
yeah,
Um, I think Petrie's already 25.
yeah. He's like 24, 25.
I mean, he was 23 when we drafted him.
Yeah,
He might be almost 26.
he's getting old.
I mean, he's not necessarily getting old. I mean, but like, kind of. You know what I mean? Like,
He's like
uh,
middle aged.
yeah, yeah, old for football anyway.
Football's a young man's sport. Hoorah!
Is Mills playing for a trade?
See, that's a tough one because I would like to think not. Because I mean, he's not going to get the starting spot. We all know that he's not
Look,
going to be the starter.
let me put
Unless,
let me put this on you. Let me put this on you. Sam Darnold gets hurt week 3.
Mhm.
The Vikings' current backup quarterback situation is an injured J.J. McCarthy and then a scrub. You could, in theory, send a future second, scoop Davis Mills.
Yeah, but
Maybe a second's a lot. Nobody's giving a second, but a third.
maybe with his experience and his knowledge of the game now, maybe he's worth a third. But I wouldn't say a second.
No, okay, a second was definitely a lot, but
Yeah.
I know that the Texans don't wanna get rid of him
Yeah.
because they know he's a competent backup. That's why I think the asking price would have to be astronomical and almost comical. Like,
Yeah.
if let's just say you called me right now and you're like, "Let me get Davis Mills," and I'm like, "Imma need a second."
I would
You're
laugh in your face. I'm not
yeah,
even gonna.
exactly, exactly. It's not gonna go well.
Like I would need a lot more than just a draft pick,
Yeah,
because I mean at least give me another player that we can use.
yeah. I wouldn't mind trading for, like, a defensive tackle,
Hmm.
um,
Or
or
a safety
or a
or another
linebacker.
safety.
Another safety wouldn't be bad, but a linebacker, I think, would be pretty solid.
Yeah.
Because we could use somebody, to kinda rotate in with To'o.
Yeah.
I think that
Speaking of, I don't think I saw much of him the last couple weeks.
I think he might be hurt at the moment, but they're not
That
doing
that,
injury reports for all of the camp. You just gotta read the articles to figure
yeah,
out
that would
how
make.
yeah. Um, through 2 games and looking into this one, the offensive line or the defensive line, which has been more concerning? Obviously, the starters have not all played
Yeah.
together. We know that. We know, okay?
Yeah.
But
Watch your mouths.
but we got Broker out here playing right tackle when he is a guard and is listed as a guard on the team website.
Maybe they just put him there for experimental purposes.
I think it's possible, but they've done it 2 games in a row. So I think it's more than experimentation at this point.
At the same time, there's been plenty of cases where a player gets drafted at one position and he ends up playing a different position.
Right. But they've got Blake Fisher playing left tackle for Laramie, and then they've got Broker playing right tackle for Titus Howard. Kenyon Green's been playing, Juice Scruggs has been playing, and then they've got, Patterson playing for Shaq Mason.
I don't. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
can't. I can't think of another reason other than
Where's Charlie
experimental
Heck?
purposes.
Yeah, but, like, Charlie Heck, we signed that guy back.
Yeah.
Where's he been? Is he hurt? Damn
I,
it, no injury report.
that would be the only explanation. I mean, I can't really think of anything other than that.
Yeah, me either. And I know we've got some younger camp bodies that are also kinda rotating in. Got David Sharp, who's also a tackle,
Yeah.
but it's just kinda odd to me, and then, again, we talked about it earlier with Dameon Pierce. The right tackle was Nick Broker when he got blown up on that pitch play.
Yeah.
Uh, you're not doing the man any favors. Obviously, a lot of that can be put on Pierce, but a lot of that is based on situation. So, I mean, can't do much with everybody and their mom in your face. But
Yeah.
offensive line, defensive line, which is more concerning in game 3?
I would have to say offensive line just because we haven't seen all of our starters play.
Yeah.
You know, it's concerning when you don't see a lot of your starters, your starting O line play, because then you start to think, oh, we're having a preseason injury that could affect the rest of the season. How is this going to play out?
Yeah.
You know, we've already had so many of these injuries already during training. I mean, practice. You know, we kind of reminding us of the first half of last year,
Yeah.
like last team that we had. I mean, I hate to say it, but our O line's just not looking all that great right now.
No, it's really not. I mean, I get the idea of guarding Laramie Tunsil and Shaq Mason.
Yeah,
Shaq Mason was the only Iron Man from last season.
yeah,
Played every game. I don't know if he played every down per se, but every game.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean you're right. The defensive line, I haven't seen a lot out of the. I mean, I've seen a lot out of the edge rushers stopping the run interior runs seem to be clogged up pretty well by the linebackers.
Yeah.
But maybe it's a good thing that I'm not noticing the defensive tackles right now.
Yeah. I mean, but at the same time, if the linebackers are doing all of the interior stoppage, where's our D tackles at?
They're
That's
eating
what
up
they're
clock.
that's what they're for.
Yeah, exactly. To be forgotten.
Yeah.
All right, all right. Well, look, secondary still not looking great.
Yeah.
So we need to see some improvement out of those guys. Um, I can tell you that Stephon Diggs is as hype as he could possibly be. Cody Stutes put out a raving review of his day of practice today. Said it was a perfect practice for Stephon Diggs. Not in the fact of everything he did was perfect, but in the fact of like if he messed up, he asked for and received another opportunity to fix that correct or to make a correction, and he did, and then would just snag on anybody. Um, there was one where he beat Kamari Laster on a deep route, and the ball was a little overthrown, and so he asked for another shot, and they did, and he got it.
Yeah.
So, um,
I mean, that's one player that I'm excited to see more of because
yeah,
he didn't have a single target last week,
no,
not a single one.
and
It
then
was
I
kind
think
of
his name will bring um,
more pressure.
well,
For sure.
not necessarily more pressure, but I think his name alone brings more like coverage, targeted
Yeah.
coverage to him. So I would expect if anybody's ever going to be the decoy, it's Stephon Diggs
Yeah. But then again, now you got that big name Tank Dill. You got Nico Collins who came off a monster year.
and
So
Dalton Schultz
and Dalton Schultz, yeah. So I mean, you got
and Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon now, yeah. You got so many big names. It's going to be hard to cover everybody.
Exactly.
And then with all of our starting O line, hopefully, you know, everybody looks good. We have a top 5 offensive line. I'm hoping for. Um, we can make some big plays.
Yeah.
You give C.J. Stroud time, he'll make a play.
Yep.
You give Stephon Diggs time, he'll make a play. You give Tank time,
Yeah.
any of our receivers, tight ends, running backs, they will make a play if you give them enough time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to also talk about the video of Stephon Diggs talking and, doing all this at CJ Stroud during the game. He's talking to him about like what he's seeing and like like perceives himself to be open on the field, and CJ is talking with him. Like it is like you can't tell, but like Stefan reacts to what CJ is saying. Like they're having a conversation. They're not. There's no beef.
Yeah,
They're just learning each other.
yeah.
Um,
Which is to be expected. I mean, they never played with each other before, so
exactly,
they need time to learn each other.
exactly. Um, but yeah, the secondary needs to see some improvement. I don't know if we're going to see Jimmy Ward playing, but if we see, I imagine we'll see Petrie. I imagine we'll see Kalen Bullock for an
Yeah,
extended period, and probably MJ Stewart and Eric Murray.
yeah.
But Eric Murray is not good and should not be on the field for any reason. We also have Brandon Hill, who's a younger guy. He was on the couple practice squads, I think.
He played decent last week. I mean,
He had a pretty solid game. I think he recovered a fumble.
yeah, and then lost it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, can't win them all. But then I still need to see something out of Jeff Okuda.
Yeah,
Like it's
I
really
agree.
telling to me that Kamari Laster is cornerback 2, and then Desmond King is the nickel.
Yeah,
That means Jeff Okuda might find himself traded or cut or riding the bench and playing special teams.
yeah. It's bad when you're getting cut from what was one of the worst teams in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, we had a really quick turnaround, but yeah, you're definitely right.
Like
All right. Well,
if you're a big name player and you're getting cut from a team like Houston, the past 5 years alone, that's bad.
yeah, let's go to risers and fallers.
Oh yeah.
All right, now we're gonna let Ron go over his list of risers and fallers that he compiled from game 2, and then we'll get into our projected risers and fallers for the Giants game.
Okay. So first one's on the list. I have Davis Mills. He played phenomenal. He was almost flawless.
Yeah,
Almost. He was making good reads. He had a really good pocket presence throughout the game, or throughout his time in the game. Um, he was just overall amazing. And then second on my list, I got Dario Gumbawale.
muffled again.
Second on my list, I have Dario Gumbawale. He played very well. Now, he didn't play for very long, and he didn't get that many touches, but the ones he did, he made them count for sure.
Yeah,
He didn't have any. I think he might have had one negative yard rush. But even then, I think it was just he got stuffed at the line.
I got you.
And then I got Cam Akers. We talked about him a little bit earlier. He's been playing very well. I like how he's playing. I love that we picked him up. He's a really good. He's a badass running back.
Yeah,
He's good in the pass game, which we can use that in the regular season. Throw him in on a couple play action plays, throw the defense off a little bit. And he played good.
yeah, he
And
did.
then, not last week, but the week before, we talked about Jawar Jordan and how I wanted to see more out of him. We got it,
Yeah,
in my opinion. I think he played pretty well.
if I'm not mistaken, he had the highest yards per carry of all the running backs.
Yeah, I think it was.
It was
I wanna
like
say it was like
3.7 or something.
something like
It
that.
it was 6 for 22.
Yeah. Um, he played great for the time that he was in. And then I got Cade Stover. He's played amazing. I think he only dropped one that was targeted to him.
Nice.
Um, I expected that out of him. For him to play that well. So I'm excited to see what more he can do. And then on the defensive side, I have Ali Gay. He played amazing in the end of the third, fourth quarter. His pursuit angles were on point. Not much happened on his side of the ball. Um, you know, offensively. So for him to do that good, I think he played pretty well. And then we got Quintez Cephas. I think I forgot about him on the offense, but
Yeah, that's fine.
he played very well. He had a lot of the receptions in the end of third, fourth quarter. He did a lot for the offense. His blocking was good. He can catch the ball, which is I've never even heard of this guy until this year. So I mean, for a no-name guy, to me, to play that well is pretty good. So I think he has a shot later down later down the road to be on a roster spot. And then we got Jacob Phillips. I believe he's a corner. I believe.
No, he's a
No?
linebacker.
Linebacker. All right.
Yeah, the numbers kind of fuck you up.
Yeah. From what I've seen out of him, he played pretty well. His play recognition was surprisingly good. I think he only missed one tackle.
Nice.
So that's my list. Now yours might be a little different, but I mean that's to be expected.
Well, I've already kind of done Steelers post game risers and fallers.
Yeah, that's right.
I did kind of piggyback a little bit on yours, but I didn't have all of those, and I did some of my own.
Gotcha.
But I was going to do pre-game risers and fallers. Everybody who's been rising and falling thus far this week in practice and leading up to the game. Rising and falling. Damian Pierce falling even in practice. There's a world where I feel Jaws Jordan will eventually work his way up above Agumbawale and Pierce and be the running back 3. So, I mean, and then we got British Brooks who's been playing well, and he's huge, like just physically huge. So, I mean, there's a lot of competition in this running back room, and Damian Pierce is falling flat.
Yeah.
And that's why he's on the falling side of this one. And then practice has not done him any favors. Flip it up, go risers here. All of the quarterbacks. There's been the joint practice has been happening, and the quarterbacks are just lighting it up, like efficiency out the ass, and in sessions, the wide receivers and secondary are really cooking and trying to duel and do each other every single time.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think here.
Stephon.
Stephon definitely a riser.
Yeah. Been almost flawless.
Yeah, the man who just wants perfect routes and perfect reps,
Yeah.
not stop it until he gets them, and that's definition of a riser right there.
Yeah.
Look, the guy. I don't know if he's bought in, but he's pretty close to bought in. And if he's not bought in soon, or by the start of the season, he's not going to get bought in.
Yeah.
But I think this is a very interesting team right now. I
Oh yeah.
keep seeing a lot of people saying that we have potentially the number one offense in the league, which is true if everybody stays healthy.
I would say number 3.
Personalities are on the sideline.
I would say number 3.
I would say like we have the potential to be those things, but I'm not
yeah.
just going to like say we're going to be that.
Yeah.
Um,
Just
and
like we have the potential to hit a Super Bowl this year, but
we got to go out there and do it.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole bugaboo here.
Yeah.
But all right, look, I think this is a good time to go ahead and wrap this bish up. Ronnie, you got any final comments?
Y'all go check out the shorts. We've been hitting big on those. Like, subscribe, follow the Instagram. I've been slacking on posting videos lately. Just been super busy, haven't had time. But I'm gonna start working on getting those caught up. I'm gonna post a few. I'll probably post 2 of them tomorrow, and then get back into the schedule of 1 a day. So y'all go hit that up, follow it, like it, share it, and go Texans.
Like the man said, go like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. Go hit up the sister channels and go like and follow their stuff. Most of all, go Texans and be good people.